Hey everybody, welcome to the workshop. In today's episode, we're going to be making a custom clamshell box for a DVD set of The Chosen. So stick around today on Adam's Workshop. Okay, so where do we get started at? Well, we get started with our materials and our tools. It doesn't take a lot for this project. First, we're going to have markings. We're going to have something to cut with. I really like this knife right here. It's a little 60-degree disposable style knife. Very lightweight, very easy to replace the blades. Love these things right here. I highly recommend these. You can get them on Amazon. They're very inexpensive. Pencil, piece of paper to write down your measurements if you want to take measurements. The way I like to do it is to not measure any more than I absolutely have to, because I find by doing referential measurements, I find that I get a much better outcome. That's just me though. Okay, materials, we got our book cloth here, we've got some chipboard, and let's see, don't remember how thick it is. It's only about 1/16 of an inch thick is what it is. So got a couple of these. I got some regular PVA glue as well. And then I also have my weights. I also have some other weights too. So I'll be able to weigh everything down. Gloves in case we need them. And parchment paper. It's not parchment paper. What is that? Craft paper. Try to keep the work surface clean, which as we can see I have not done a good job with. Oh well. Other things we're going to need is, now this I've already done. I have already gone ahead and this is heat transfer vinyl, and I have already gone ahead off camera and cut out the pieces that I need for the front cover as well. So I do have that. And also here on the side you can see I've got scrap chipboard and scrap book cloth. And what this is going to be for is, the first thing I'm going to do is to make a jig. And so what I'm going to do is take some of the scrap board, some of the scrap pieces, and just glue them together. I'm going to do this for 3 of them. Now why am I doing this? It is because once I go to do my measurements here, so I put my item on here, and then so say you want to put some pieces around the side, that'll stay up, okay, like so. And so this right here is how I'm going to actually get everything measured out. I'll take my pencil and I'll mark it so that way I know where to cut. However, the problem is, if I did it this way, it's going to be nice and snug, which would be awesome. It's not going to move around, but the problem with this is it's going to be a little tight because the book cloth also has thickness to it. So in order to get everything correct, what I need to do is make up some pieces where I glue this to here on all 3 of these, so that way, especially from side to side here, it will account for the thickness of the book cloth as well, so that way it will fit it correctly but not be too snug. So hope that makes sense. So first things first, we're just going to take some pieces here. I'm going to say I'm going to use this one, I'll use this one, oh, okay, use that one. Okay, so I guess you might say the very first thing we're going to do is a little side project of making up some jigs here, so let's get to it. Start off with some paper so I don't get everything all messy. I don't know why I did that one. I forgot my brush. Okay, our pieces are made, and while they don't look the best, they don't have to. And I did get me a new blade, because I mean obviously that just doesn't look very good getting all frayed, but doesn't matter. This is just a jig for doing this project, and the nice thing about building jigs as well, if we go ahead and we mark them, then we can know later on this is a jig. So we can keep it for later on. So it is a multi-use. Okay, so next step is to build the bottom tray. So the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to start off with the bottom piece to begin with, using my referential measurements and my new jigs, along with some weights. So how I'm doing this, I guess y'all can see me, is I'm putting the weights right up against the edge of this piece, then I'm taking my jig piece and putting it right up against there, and then putting the box right up against that. Then I'm going to do the same thing for the other side, put it right up against there. I guess I can put it down so you can see better. Put it up against here and against here. That gives me a hard stop, so that way as it's going it can only go so far. I'll put my jig piece inside of here, and then I can do the same thing here with some more weights if I need to, like so. So now push everything up against it like so, and now I have exactly the measurement that I need. So what I'll do, take my Sharpie, make sure it's working. Now I can take my blocks away, and then I just mark. So now we have the exact measurement that we need for this. So now we can go ahead and cut it out. Now here's another something too. If I put my ruler up here, it kind of curved inwards a little bit when I marked it. So now it's like, okay, I've already taken everything off and I don't want to put it all back to see you know, what it is. I'm just going to take the two high points here and here, and even though it might be slightly oversized for what I need, that right there is still what I'm going to go with, so that way I make sure the whole thing actually fits. Most likely what it is, as you can see right here, so I'm not taking the plastic off, so this right here is really what's doing it. But I still want the whole thing encapsulated, so. And make sure you do multiple light cuts. Much easier. Yes, it takes a little longer. Trust me, it's better. Okay, my top and bottom are in good shape. However, my width is a little bit off, so I'm going to redo it. I'd rather have too much and have to trim it down than have too little. This should be good, but one more check just to make sure. Excellent. Now it is time to get the thickness of it, this side, and the width for this side as well. All right, so everything is now fitting. The bottom tray is now made. So now the next step is going to be to cover it in book cloth. And I'm going to do a little bit different way than I did before. So here we go. Okay, now it's time to cover the surround on this thing. And the way I've done this before in the past was I just cut off little strips. I just measured just enough to do, say, the side, and then cut it, and then did the same thing for all three sides. This time I'm going to do it as one solid piece. I think that right there will probably be a little bit nicer and better, and I won't have quite so many overlaps on them, making it a little bit nicer. So what I've done is I've taken a piece, just a regular piece of paper, I folded it over about a centimeter, and so that has given me this little piece right here. I put it up underneath here about a centimeter, so that gives me about a total that'll give me approximately 2 centimeters worth, like so, on the bottom. Then, yeah, put it up underneath there, fold it up and over and down, and then I measure about 2 centimeters in from there. And at that point, I've made me a little mark there. So when I unfold this and I measure it out, from here to the end, that's approximately 10 centimeters. So that's how long the whole thing will need to be around here. Then I already measured both sides here, which are about 14 centimeters each, and then the long side is 19.7. So that's a total of 51.7. I'm going to just round it up to 52. So that'll give me just extra length here on the outside, and I can trim it if I need to. So I've got a total of 52 centimeters long that I'm going to cut, and it needs to be 10 centimeters wide. So I'm going to start off by unrolling here. I don't want to mark up the good side of it, so why don't I just flip it over? Okay. That's horrible. Okay. Well, mistakes were made. But that's okay. Right. Okay, better. Now, to get this right, I'm going to measure 2 centimeters up and draw a line there, so that way when I go to glue it down I can have a way to keep it all measured right. All right, we've got the inner tray all done. This thing is looking really nice, really professional. When it comes to having the thing in there, it actually fits really, really well. There's plenty enough room for it, so that way it's not really tight, but it's not moving around really much either. So it's like the perfect size for this thing. So absolutely loving it. So the next thing is to make the top tray. Top tray is going to be the exact same thing as the bottom tray, except just a little bit larger. I will be building it the exact same way as I did this one, where I put this on here, use referential measurements, use my jigs in order to make sure my spacing is correct, except this time it's going to be just done with the bottom tray instead of this. So I'm going to do all that off camera because you've already seen me do this. You've already seen me build it, measure it, cut it, glue it, cover it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that off camera, and when I come back, we'll be able to move on to the next thing. Okay, the large tray is now complete. We can now see that the small tray fits inside of there. There is just a smidge, not much, just a smidge of play in there, so that way when it goes to open and close, it doesn't get bound up. So now that we've got this done, the next process is going to be to take the next piece of chipboard here, and we're going to make the front and back of the outside binding, if you will. So I need two pieces. One is going to be for the front and back, and then I'm going to need a sliver for the spine of that. So let's get to making this. All right, now we've got our pieces all cut out. The next thing to do is to wrap it in the book cloth as well. Unfortunately, I have to pause because I don't have enough book cloth here to be able to cover the entire thing in a single piece. So I'm going to have to wait. I got some coming in, so when that comes in, we'll come back and we'll get this covered. Then we'll get these two positioned properly, glued on, and then we can, after that, put on our title and all, and then we'll be finished. So I'll be back once I get the materials. And we're back. I got the book cloth in, and so now I'm ready for the next step, which is we're going to cover the cover boards here, and then we're going to put an extra strip of book cloth on the inside of the spine right here in order to cover it up, so that way when you open it up, everything looks covered nice and neat. So let's get started. Okay, we're down to the home stretch. We got two things left. About to put on the front cover design work and then gluing in the trays. So let's get started. Well, it's all completed now, and it's looking really good. I absolutely love this. It's like having a special edition version, getting to make it yourself, making it feel even more special. I absolutely love the heat transfer vinyl. It looks so good on there. The whole thing came out looking really good, and I'm really proud of this. So I'm hoping the recipient will enjoy it just as much as I am. So thank you so much for joining me while making this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all again next time in the workshop.